are loving in a way? Like,
I don't
can
think
I
it's
ask why?
loving. Yeah, so I think that the most loving thing we can do for people is to be honest with them and tell them the truth, even when they don't like it. Because all of us will believe false things about ourselves at one point or another. I might think I'm smarter than I am. I might think I'm dumber than I am. I might think I deserve to be paid more than I do. And when I have false beliefs about myself, I want those around me to tell me the truth and correct me, because otherwise I'll make decisions based on false beliefs, which will ultimately harm me and those around me. So like if I was a drunkard and an alcoholic and I identified as sober and I wanted everyone to address me as sober, and then I got behind a wheel of a car and drove, I'm putting myself and those around me at risk because my false belief about myself was never corrected.
Okay, but how does this correlate with using pronouns?
Yeah, so like if a man believes he's a woman and we all go along with that, we use his preferred pronouns and tell him, yes, you're a woman, even though he's not. He might reason that women don't have penises and he does. And so he's going to go about measures to take his off, which I think is obviously a negative outcome.
I mean, I don't know the exact percentage.
Well, dude, look at this guy. Look, he has like pink in his hair. The toxicity just showing, and he has a nose ring. What is this? It's like, dude, if you're a libtard, is that part of the uniform? The libtard Halloween costume? You know, libtard starter kit. Got the nose ring. Got the colored hair. Like, why? Looks like the microphone he's using has a little afro on it.
But like, is getting as a grown man, if you were to get your pecker chopped off, change into a vagina, who's to say it? Why do I care? Why I don't give a damn?
Well, it doesn't turn into a vagina. That's not how it works. It's a wound. It doesn't turn into a vagina. A vagina isn't just a hole in you. It's a sex organ. It's a whole thing.
You're a grown man. Like,
so, I mean, I'm assuming you're male, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Would you want your wiener chopped off? Because I wouldn't. If I was in a deranged state like that,
no, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it chopped off, right? And so if we're gonna love our neighbor as ourselves, I know if I was deluded to think that I was
but not everybody wants the same things.
Yeah, but some desires are wrong.
I paint my fingernails. Would you want your nails painted?
I wouldn't.
Exactly.
My point is, some desires are disordered and wrong, and we shouldn't coalesce.
What makes something wrong?
The desire for a male to be a woman is wrong.
Why?
Well, for one, a male can never become a woman.
Why?
Why can a male never become a woman?
Why? Yeah.
Because he's a man.
Okay, but like, I'm confused. Why can a man never become a woman? You can't just say because he's a man.
Okay, so I produce sperm, right?
That's what
I do. So I produce sperm and I can't produce eggs, no matter what I do.
Well, my brother actually doesn't produce sperm. So is he now a woman just because he doesn't produce sperm?
So if he's a male, he has the natural capacity to produce sperm, regardless of if that capacity is ever realized where he has an immediate capacity to do it. Since he's a male, he's got the natural capacity.
Okay. So I'm still confused why this means a man can't transition into a woman.
Okay, even though you proved me wrong, I'm still confused. Like, what's so hard about it? Like, okay, great. Yeah, there are some men that, can't produce sperm, but can they produce eggs instead? No, there's no man that could produce eggs. So he failed to actually address that part of the statement conveniently.
Like why a man can't become a woman?
Yeah.
Okay, no matter whatever I do to my body, there's nothing I can ever do to be able to produce eggs. I can never become a woman. There's no way I'll ever be able to produce eggs.
Okay, exactly. But just because you can't produce eggs doesn't mean I can't call you a woman if you want to be one. That is like,
you could call me a cat. It doesn't make me a cat. You can call me a woman. It doesn't make me a woman.
I mean, does it though? Okay. I'm not going to use anybody in the audience.
You can use me. Okay. So before the bells, you were giving me like a situation. Why don't you go ahead and repeat it?
Okay. So like, let's say I have never seen you before in my life. You shaved your beard, you had a wig, you painted your nails, you were wearing earrings, you were a gorgeous, beautiful. You just look like a beautiful lady. I open this door, I look at you, I'm like, wow, that is a beautiful lady. In my world, in my reality, I have never met you a day in my life.
Yep.
All I see is a pretty woman. That's what I'm going to see in my head. In my head, I'm associating you with a woman until you tell me otherwise. Until I'm like, hi, my name is Jason. Nice to meet you. What's your name? And you're like, oh, my name's Hayden. I'm a dude. You're a woman in my head. Like, and then that's when I'll make the decision to like call you a man at that point.
So is this dude telling on himself there? Does this guy go out with trans women? Is he pulling a Connor? He's telling on himself here. But there's still truth there. Just because someone is presenting you with the illusion that just because they look like a woman, they're presenting you this illusion that they're a woman, still doesn't make it that they're a woman. It doesn't. No matter how much plastic surgery you get to look like one, it doesn't make you one. And so what are you talking about here?
Because that's what you told me. That's what's true.
Because that's when you realize that you were deceived by appearances, right? It's like a good example is like fake fruit, right? I might be really hungry and I might see a fake apple. But me seeing that fake apple and thinking it's real doesn't make it an actual apple.
Okay,
exactly.
I would have just been deceived. It's not an apple. You know, fake fruit, it's not actually like real fruit. It's just like plastic.
Okay, but it looks like an apple.
Yeah, so like if someone dresses as a woman and deceives you into thinking they're a woman, it doesn't actually make them a woman.
Okay, but what's the problem with me like just saying she, her, referring it to as what they want to be called as? I'm confused as why you think that's not loving.
Yeah, because it's affirming a false belief in someone, and then they make decisions consistent with that belief that harm themselves and others.
Okay, but if I am being called a man my entire life, or if I in my body I think I'm a man my entire life, I feel like a man, I act like a man, I do all these man things, and I have people coming from all over calling me a woman, is that not gonna make me feel like worse than if people were to just call me a man?
So let me just see if I got this right. So you're saying essentially if someone identifies as trans, identifies as like the opposite gender, and people call them their biological sex, they might take that as a form of like disrespect?
I wouldn't say it's a form of disrespect until you make it out to be. Like, yeah, you can always accidentally call somebody the wrong gender, but until you know that they want to be called a woman, and like it doesn't cause you any harm to acknowledge them as a woman. All it does by not calling them a woman is you just don't respect them as a person. Like,
no, I see, that's where I disagree. I think the ultimate form of respecting,
yeah, you know, it's still like it's always like, well, it just shows that you don't respect them as a person. It doesn't do you no harm. Yeah, it does though, is the thing, because it doesn't just end with pronouns. It doesn't just end with pronouns. Even if we were to be like, okay, fine, we'll respect the pronouns, well, then they take it a step further and they're like, oh, okay, great. So you call me a she, right? So now I could go use the women's bathroom. Oh, well, now I could go join women's sports. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. No. Listen, we'll go ahead and we'll call you a woman. Fine, whatever. But that doesn't mean you should use the restroom now. Oh, but you're calling me a woman. Aren't I a woman? It doesn't, you know, you just said I'm a woman. Therefore, I could go to the bathrooms. Like, it does cause harm. This whole playing into their delusions like that. It doesn't just stop with the pronouns. I feel like these lefties just try to sucker us into that way by saying, well, it doesn't cause you any harm. And it's like, well, we've seen that it does. Like, that lie doesn't work anymore.
someone is caring enough to tell them the truth.
I don't see that to be true, because in a way, like, people lie all the time to protect people. Like, I feel like that is a part of human nature, is lying.
Just like, think about the alcoholic example I gave earlier. Like, if you were drunk and you thought you were sober, wouldn't you want people to tell you were drunk so you didn't do something dumb like get behind the wheel of a car?
One more time.
Okay, so if you were drunk, right, and you thought you were sober, wouldn't you want those around you to correct you so you didn't act on that false belief?
But being drunk has the capacity to hurt yourself and others. That,
and so does thinking you're the opposite gender.
Yeah,
has the capacity to hurt yourself and
absolutely.
Others. How can you hurt others?
Well, start with yourself, right?
Well, I
think we'd agree you hurt yourself when you chop off your wiener.
I don't really think it hurts per se. Like, you're not really hurting yourself. You're making yourself feel better in the long run. Any surgery hurts. Any plastic surgery hurts.
I don't think you're hurting yourself if you chop your penis off. Wow. Yeah, see, there's a reason. Like, yeah, I know some people might be bored of the trans topic, but it's not defeated yet. There's still assholes like this running around saying shit like that. And they're coming from the colleges here. These are college-educated people. And then they go into college, they come out with the nose ring and the colored hair and saying shit like, well, I don't think chopping off your penis hurts you. And plastic apples are just as good as real apples.
That's just getting plastic.
Why do you think it's making someone feel better in the long run? What led you to that belief?
I just feel like if I didn't have a penis anymore and I had a vagina right now,
it wouldn't be a real vagina. If it was surgery.
If I had a vagina right now, I wouldn't be very happy and I'd want to get a fake dick. That's just how I feel. If I were to put you in her body right now, you would feel weird that you have boobs and ass. You would want a penis. You would try. I'm not gonna say you yourself.
But here's the thing, though. Men can't know what it feels like to be a woman. Like if, for example, you had a man standing here who identified as trans and thought he was a woman, and he says, "I feel like a woman." He can't know what it is to feel like a woman because he's not a woman.
What do you think it feels to be like? What does it feel like to be a man? Is it just feeling a dick and balls in your pants? Is that the only thing that makes me a man?
The thing that makes you a man would be the natural capacity to produce sperm, right? So even if like you have someone who's pre-pubertal, hasn't produced sperm yet, they're still a man if they're a boy, right? But the one thing you asked that I didn't answer, and I want to answer it just because I want to be respectful of the question you asked, was essentially like, how does it harm others, right? If someone believes that they are the opposite gender when they're not, the way that it would harm others, for one, would be in the form of social contagion. And then number two, a decrease in social trust. So social contagion would be individuals see those around them cross-dressing, and they get this idea in their head that they might actually be the opposite gender. And then the other part of that is social trust. If I use the preferred pronouns of someone, which communicates inaccurately to them that they are the gender that they're not, that decreases social trust, because now I can't trust those around me anymore to correct the false beliefs that I hold, because I don't know if they're just trying to appease me or if they're actually telling me the truth. Lies are like social waste. Everyone is harmed by their spread. It's a quote from Sam Harris. He's an atheist philosopher guy. But that's what lies are. They're like social waste, and everyone is harmed by their spread. We want to be able to trust those around us.
I feel like that's just like
I don't
want to say that's nitpicky in a way, but I feel like on the base front of it, you should just be able to say, like, when you see somebody, you should be able to acknowledge if that's a man or a woman, and if they tell you otherwise, it should just, like, you shouldn't really think that deep into it. I don't think it's that much of a problem to like just acknowledge somebody for what they want to be. Like I understand how you said the alcoholic, but me acknowledging my transgender friend as a woman he's not going to get behind a car and like get into a drunk accident.
But it will decrease social trust, and he might make decisions that harm himself.
What does that even?
Yeah, decrease social trust. Like, oh, okay. So now because of this, now if there's like, let's say there's a woman who's a biological woman, but she looks a little manly, like she's maybe taller, she's bigger, and she goes into the women's bathroom. Well, now someone's going to see her going in there and think, hey, is that really a woman that's going in there, or is that a man? And then it's going to cause a whole disturbance. Like they want to cause everything to go topsy-turvy just to make a small group of people feel comfortable. And the reality is we can't be having that.
The ability for me to trust that those around me will tell me the truth.
Because I acknowledge somebody's pronouns means I'm gonna lie to you? Is that what you're afraid of?
Using someone's preferred pronouns is lying to them in order to appease their false beliefs they have about themselves. That's not the attitude we want others to have towards us, and it's not the attitude we should have towards others.
But I feel like this isn't the same as just naturally lying to somebody. Like,
how is it not?
Me telling you that I'm a millionaire is completely telling you that I have a vagina instead of a penis, because you can check if I have a vagina or a penis. I don't. You can also check my bank account. I don't have $1 million, but if I want to be acknowledged as a woman, like I don't get why it'd be a problem, even if what's in my pants stays in my pants. Like it's not going to.
Yeah, I wonder if this dude ever went with a freaking, let's say someone who he thought was a woman, and then things are getting hot and heavy, and then they go to the bedroom, and then the dude takes his pants down, and boing, and I wonder if this guy would be sitting here like, well, geez, I don't see what the big deal is for me to just acknowledge that this is a woman. Like, what do you think? Do you think he would keep going? Do you think he would keep going, or would he not acknowledge that person he's about to sleep with is really a woman? Do you think he's going to deny this trans woman their existence, that they're a woman, by saying, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't want anything to do with that? Or do you think, to be a trans ally, do you think he'll keep going?
I guess I can't really articulate what I'm trying to say here, because you are trying to like equivalate actual lies to respecting somebody's pronouns,
lies,
which I just don't think are on the same level.
Here's one thing that might be helpful. Are you familiar with the concept of the Oedipus trap?
No.
So it's where you make decisions that are so harmful psychologically to yourself that you can't bring yourself to admit that you were wrong. By using someone's preferred pronouns, you're further trapping them in the Oedipus trap. Because now if they later realize the mistake that they've made, it's going to be socially devastating for them to have to tell every single person that they've asked to use their preferred pronouns not to do that anymore.
Well, it would be the same thing if I were to legally change my name to Michael. It's Jason. If everybody's gone my entire life calling me Jason, I'm like, hey, I want to be Michael today. It's going to be a little bit of a social shock to start calling me Michael after years of calling me Jason.
So a little bit of a difference there. You can legally change your name. You can't change your gender. You can't change sex.
You can get people to acknowledge you as so, though.
You can get people to lie to you.
Okay, but if I don't tell anybody, like, in your reality,
people can tell, dude. You've seen people who identify as trans.
That is
you can tell.
That is a horrible analogy. I have seen beautiful, beautiful trans women who look like they were born a woman. I've seen like very, very buff like dudes who are were born a woman.
Here's the thing, though, is even in the case where someone does pass for the opposite sex, when you find out they're not, all you do is realize that you were deceived.
Okay, so I don't care.
So again, you don't care? Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, let's see if he still has that same energy should he ever end up with a trans woman in the bedroom, huh? Let's see if he's like, oh, so what? Boy, oh, okay, big deal. So what? Okay, whatever. All right. You know, let's see if he keeps that same energy.
Okay. All right.
I don't care that. Who cares what I think they are?
Would you apply this to people who identify as transracial? I'm just curious.
No.
So if I asked you to address me as black, you wouldn't respect that?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because you're not black.
I'm not black?
No, neither of your parents are black. You didn't grow up around black culture. You've never been dealt with in a racial like tone that is degrading in a way. I just think it's completely like different. Transracial and transgender are completely different because you can't really like make an excuse for wanting to be transracial. Like calling yourself black isn't going to do anything for you. Like
now I think you understand how some women feel when men identify as women, because that man will never know what it's like to have been a woman. Just like I will never know what it's like to have been a black man.
So you think that it's the same thing if you wanted to be black as to if I wanted to?
Then the cognitive dissonance with these people, like it's so crazy. You know, because every time they bring up that example, like every time they bring it up about the whole, oh, well, can a white person be black? All of a sudden, automatically, they're like, well, that's not the same thing. And then they'll bring up all these reasons, pretty much the same exact reasons we bring up when we say why men can't be women and vice versa. They bring up when it comes to transracial, like transracialism. Like for them, for it to make sense to them that people could be transgender, but not make sense that people could be transracial, like it's crazy to me. And it's like the best they could do is, well, it's not the same thing. It's not. And it's like, well, why is it not the same thing? Because it really isn't the same thing? Or is it because you've just been brainwashed to believe in one thing, but not the other? Like you've been lied and manipulated to believe that, yes, men can become women and vice versa. But since there has been no brainwashing about transracialism, then that you could logically follow that no, a white person can't become black and vice versa. Is that what's really going on there? And that's what it seems like to me, this indoctrination going on. I mean, they're at the indoctrination factories, the colleges here. Again, they go to college, they come out with the nose ring, they come out with the pink hair, whatever, the colored hair, and they come out saying stupid shit like, yes, actually, men can become women and vice versa. I think that's actually what's going on here. If you'd like to see the rest of this video, I'll have the link down in the description down below. I would recommend you follow Hayden Rodia's channel. He does a lot of good work over there. He's starting to upload a lot again. And if you enjoyed this video, give this video a like. If you got something to say, leave a comment in the comment section below. And also subscribe to my channel. I do have other Hayden Rodia stuff. And as long as a lot of other stuff very similar to this that I think you'll enjoy.